Chris Paul gets in, another wide open three.
Pierre Cardin.
Defers to Booker for the long-range jumper.
P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. Chris Paul bring a dinner with the dish. D-Book on the corner with the swish. We the Valley, hating with the dumb. Posterizing, now the crowd getting pumped. We the best, I ain't talking about Cali. Who's next? Never winning in the Valley. Can't wait for that championship rally. Send them home, send them back to Cali. Stand up if you're down for the Suns. Put a finger in the air, we number one. P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing.
2, 1.
Welcome to the first ever episode of Aussie Suns Fans Podcast, and we are here today. We have available, or the people who were available and showed up. Cable, welcome along.
Thanks for having me.
We've got Nate, not to be confused with Nathan.
We've been through that.
And myself, Gavin, I will host. We are your big three. When it comes to the NBA, you must have a big three, and we are it. So let's hope you enjoy what we're going to give you over the next, let's be honest, probably 15 minutes, but let's try and stretch it out a little bit longer. Boys, the Suns fans group for Australia, it's been a great initiative. I started it basically because I was sick of the American Suns fans groups, the whining and the bitching, but also because I didn't actually know how many fans we had in Australia. For a while there, I thought I was the only one, but what a takeoff it's been with the page.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it's definitely something I've wondered for a while, that I was definitely a very loyal and passionate Suns fan for a long time. And you play basketball with mates, and a lot of them sort of have their teams, or they follow LeBron, or they follow a particular player. They don't really stick hardcore to a team. Or sometimes I feel like from my generation, the cop-out was you're either a Lakers fan or you're a Bulls fan, or one of those other big teams. You don't really see too many people really commit to the smaller franchises, and well, especially in the last few years, us not really being a good side. It's hard to sort of find other people that were passionate about the Suns. And then slowly over the last couple of years, just somehow it comes up in conversation. There's the odd guy that you meet. It's like, I'm a massive Suns fan, and rah. So I have met a couple, and I invited them to the group as soon as I found out it existed, but at the start of the playoffs. I'm a new member, so I'm glad there's a place for us Aussies, I guess.
Well, I got news for you, Cable. Get ready for a fresh revolution of bandwagon fans ready to get bitch slapped, because they're coming.
Mm-hmm. Well, not that there's a problem with that, because reality is that's how we get the fans. The fans, we're all bandwagon fans at some stage. None of us were born in Phoenix. We get that. But the reality is, at the end of the day, the reason we started following the fans, the Suns, we'd all have different reasons, but we were all bandwagon fans at some stage. And look, I mean,
there goes that line again, Gav. I'll just take over too. That you call us bandwagon fans back in the day, but I'm sure we pretty much quickly learnt more than 5 players' names on our roster. I can't say that about too many Warriors fans these days.
No, that's absolutely true.
I remember when the Warriors were absolute junk, and I reckon I remember. Many years ago. I mean, look, I'll straight up say I've never been to the States yet. It's still on the bucket list to do some, get to Phoenix, go watch the Suns, all that sort of stuff. But over the years, I've had different times where I've almost gone and, saving up money and looking for a bit of a trip. In the early 2000s into the mid 2000s, the cheapest ticket you could buy for an NBA game was the Golden State Warriors, because they were rubbish. No one would go. And like you want to think about going to the Lakers or even Phoenix and some of the other big places. You go, oh, geez, the ticket prices are really expensive. But you go, oh, if I want a really good seat and watch a game of basketball, the Warriors is the best place to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was you're absolutely spot on. And some of the trash that the Warriors rolled out in those years out on the court was embarrassing, really. For the franchise, it was embarrassing. But look, they turned it around. They did similar to what we did. They became a dynasty because they recruited well. They got those guys to stick around, and they created a good, strong franchise. And that's what we're doing now with the Suns. And it's been a long time since Nash and Murray and these guys. So it's really, really good to see that it's finally coming together. So before we roll into what we've set up as an agenda, a couple of warnings here for the people that are out there. There will be foul language in this podcast. There will be drinking in this podcast, and there will be smoking cigarettes, mainly by me because I'm outside. Number 3, as you've already seen, I will go dark every now and again because I have 4 children who are way too loud. So I'm sitting in the shed and it is 8 degrees and freezing. But for you guys, it's always worth it. So
you look like our Espo, Gav.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks.
You're our Espo.
Hopefully we get to that level. That's what we want to get to. We want to get to that level at some stage. We'll grow that big. I've got no doubt about it. So effectively what we're going to do is we're going to go through a weekly wrap-up of the Suns page. Might be a little bit boring, but I'll just push through that in a couple of minutes just to give people an idea of where the page is. Then we will nominate, each of us will nominate our Aussie Suns fan of the week. So somebody from the group who has done the most work, has been the most prominent, whether that be on the page or in the live messenger chat. And then between us, we will decide who that is. We will have a flog of the week. Darkness.
Which is going to be you pretty soon.
It's going to be me very shortly. We are going to have a flog of the week who basically can come from anywhere. We will have a segment called Who Do We Want to Have a Beer With? Which I think is very, very important. Again, that person can come from anywhere. And then we will operate a little bit of a crystal ball where we will look at the games that are coming up. And depending on how often we sort of get moving and have these podcasts, we'll certainly look at tomorrow's game. And depending on how long it takes Cable to get this up, tomorrow, of course, the Suns play game 1 versus the Nuggets. And what we will do is put together an Aussie Suns fan multi, which I will go into a little bit deeper later on in the podcast when we get to that segment. So to start off with, I just want to speak about the wrap-up. In the last month or last week, we had 57 new requests to the page, which gave us a grand total of 283 members. The best part of that is that 239 of those members are currently active on our page, whether that's engaging in likes, commenting, or posting themselves. We had 139 posts in the last week with 937 reactions. Our top post of the week was from John O'Graham, and his question was who here has attended a Suns game? And we had plenty of reactions there, people giving feedback on what games they've been to, where they've been to games. Our top contributors, Cal, one of our American ring-ins into the Aussie Suns fans page.
How many have we got from America now, Gav?
We actually have 67 members from America.
What?
We have, we have 175 from Australia, 14 from the Philippines, 3 from New Zealand, 2 from Mexico, 2 from Brazil, 2 from, I don't even know what this country is. One from Canada,
This is
one
cool.
from
This is really
one
cool.
from Hong Kong, which is our mate Carl Buxton. Carl,
Yeah.
well done. This is my favourite. We have one member from Botswana.
Nice. Didn't know they had computers there.
Should I laugh that
didn't
loud? Come on.
I did not do the research into who our member from Botswana is, but that's fantastic. Personally, I think they've probably got an NBA League Pass that is running on a VPN from Botswana and just don't change.
Gotcha. Because I was going to say, otherwise he's a 7-foot big bugger. So,
well, maybe he might be our backup center for DA.
Yeah.
So that's our wrap up. Yeah, absolutely, we could.
So just out of curiosity, that was the one thing I sort of, again, I'm a newer member, so I don't know, maybe I was naive and I thought everyone was going to be from Australia, but then obviously there was a couple of things said that hang on, he sounds American. Are we dealing with expats, or there are some Americans that just want to be part of an actual good group?
Well, initially, when we created the group, and Nath was one of our original members of the group.
I got that little foundation logo that pops up and makes me feel happy every time I look at the page. Yeah.
Ian also was one of the foundation members, and what we said at the start was that we were going to try and keep this predominantly Australian fans. That was our goal. Mainly because I think a lot of us joined the group based off the back of the fact that we were frustrated with a lot of the American groups and a lot of the content that happened in those groups. What happened over time was we started to bring in a couple of group members that were probably a little bit notorious. They weren't expats, but they were notorious Suns fans from some of these American groups. And one of our favourites is Mike Sanchez, who does his weekly Cam's Corner, and Mike's an absolute ripper to have in the group. And we worked out that those things were really positive. It added a lot of value to the group. We did set a really strong group of rules, though, at the top of the page, which effectively said that if you came in and you put a Suns fan offside, you were going to be booted. And unfortunately, after our fantastic win against the Lakers, we had our first couple of instances of that this week. But the reality is that the reality is at the end of the day, the group was made for Australian Suns fans, Australian expats. I think Carl is absolutely one of them. He's over in Hong Kong. But the group is for Australians to get together and talk about the Suns. So we have started letting others in, but the minute they slip up, they'll be Gonski. Do either of you have any other questions about the group? Now's the best time to get them out.
No, it's not a question. It's probably an apology. Because I actually did get Mike offside. He misunderstood. He kept mentioning the Geelong Cats and putting that on a poster at the game, and someone had already sort of said, no one likes Geelong, or, it's not really
that was me.
Relative to the post. And then I feel like it was a day or two later, he brought it up again, and I just said, fuck off. And then he obviously misconstrued that as not me just having a bit of banter and saying, fuck off, whatever. He sort of got upset about it. And it's like, I don't know why you're being a dick. And I was like, I'm not trying to be a dick. Apologies if you think that.
So for those American fans who are out there that are joining us and might catch this podcast video cast and have a watch, understand we are Australian.
Mm-hmm. Well,
we will rip you, and that is what we do. It is nothing personal. It never is. But if we've got grounds to stand on, we are going to go tell you to fuck yourself. We are going to probably call you a word that isn't allowed on American TV, and all of you are amazed by the amount of times we use it here in Australia.
Don't worry, they're amazed when we use it over there too.
But reality is that's who we are. As Aussies, we're shit stirrers. And if you go against what we stand for, I'm an Essendon supporter. I think Patrick Dangerfield is an absolute flog of epic proportions and is basically the LeBron James of the AFL. So if I want to call that out, I will call that out. We don't hold back. We're Aussies. Get used to it. Embrace it. Enjoy it.
Well, while we're not making apologies for things, a little shout out to those that listen to the solar panel. I've created Saul's Swears for Kids jar, and I've glad wrapped the bastard. I've glad wrapped the bastard because there's nothing going in there.
Yes. there will be no apologies for swearing on this podcast. We're
None.
Australian. That's what we do.
And it's 9:00 at night and we're drinking. So,
Yeah.
It's beer o'clock.
Beer o'clock.
cheers.
All right, so we'll move
Hit
on
that
to
agenda.
our next. We'll move on to the next part of the agenda, which is the Aussie Suns Fan of the Week. So how this will work is that each week, whoever is on the podcast, I will ask them to nominate a Aussie Suns Fan of the Week for their activity throughout the page, the Aussie Suns Fan page, as well as our group chat. Now, again, while we're not handing out apologies, if you are not from Australia or an Australian expat, you ain't winning this. I'm not going to vote for you. And as Ian says, I'm the godfather, so I make the fucking rules. So to kick off, my nomination of Fan of the Week is Jono. Jono Graham was one of our top posters for the week anyway. Was certainly in our top 10. He had the highest ranking post within the page, which was who's attended a Suns game and where did you attend. But not only that, he contributes within the page, contributes on the group chat, and is not a complete fuckwit.
Oh,
That's a pretty good prerequisite.
That's a fantastic rap there for Jono.
shining recommendation there. Gab's in
Nate,
the
who
corner,
have you
not a
got for us?
fuckwit. Look, I've got to admit, I'm probably qualifying for Flog of the Week because I didn't pay a lot of attention this week. I had some shit going on. I obviously missed that post that was, you've just said, the most liked post of the week. I was like, shit, I missed that. Oh. Look, I was going to throw Gav a mention because you did this. I mean, I heard about it yesterday and we're recording it now. So well done. If I had to throw something else, I'd throw Boyd a mention. Boyd had some YouTubes from, was it Supreme Dreams _1, that just took the absolute piss out of LeBron. And I watched each of them about 3 times over. I just couldn't stop laughing. So he gets my vote just on crack my pants.
And of course, Boyd's one of our favourites, isn't he? Let's be honest. Boyd dominates the
He's
group
done
chat.
me a solid before, so yeah.
Dominates a little bit of everything. And probably the only bloke in the group that drinks more piss than me.
Oh, he's solid. He's solid. I'm pretty sure me and Ian ended up in a FaceTime with him during a game when he was at the tavern. Shit, that was funny.
Well, we might get a few more of them over the next week if the Suns can do the job on Denver. What do you got for us, Cable?
Look, I'll be honest. I'm not I'm still relatively new, and I'm just seeing the names pop up. And I know you post a lot, Gav. Put all those really cool articles for us to catch up on if we've missed it. But I'd probably say someone else that's been pretty active, and you might have the stats there for me to back it up. But probably I'll nominate Trav Wright.
Yeah.
For he's been pretty involved in the last week, and why not? I mean, there's a whole list. I think you did give us a list of how many people that have been active in the group. So,
yep.
But yeah, I'll nominate Trav.
And the group's been fantastic, and obviously with I know that we were hoping that Ian would join us tonight, but obviously he might have had some other stuff that came up late.
Shit happens.
But yeah, that's it. Obviously, there's a couple of honourable mentions here that none of us have done, but Matty Bates has posted a lot this week, and Jared Humphreys always is nice and active, but Trav's a really good nomination, particularly in the group chat, in the live chat. He's been phenomenal this week. Really, really good. So we've got 3 good nominations there. Now, the problem is that we're all going to vote for our own nomination. So I've got a little bit of a solution for that. All right. What we're going to do, instead of us deciding, those 3 nominations will go onto a poll on the group tomorrow for 24 hours. And our group will decide who the fan of the week is.
Yep, that sounds good.
So that will be an ongoing thing when we run the video cast or podcast. But we have 3 fantastic nominations there, and let's see who comes out the winner, which we'll announce on the next video cast. Flog of the week. I'm going to let you guys go first here because my flog of the week is the most obvious thing you'll ever hear in your life out of my mouth. So, Nate,
it better be Victorian related.
We'll start with Cable. Cable, what do you got for us? Who's the flog of the week?
I think it's LeBron James. Can I do that?
Hard to argue.
No one's going to argue with you, brother.
Hard to argue.
I'll give a bit of a quick backstory in that I do respect he's one of the most talented and gifted players that's ever played the game. Hands down.
Absolutely.
I've got no issues with that at all. But I have never, ever, and, all these people are so passionate. Why do you hate LeBron? And why do you think Jordan's the greatest? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, there's a good reason. Because his attitude always has been shit. Even when he was in Miami and he was sooking about the air conditioning and cramping up in that final series. He's
one
always
of my favourite moments.
But that's the thing. You got to be a little bit classy. I know it's frustrating because I know there's people that have that white line fever. I'm not the same. I hate losing, but you still have to go out with a bit of class and respect when you do lose. And I just feel like he just always, every time I see him, he's sooking about something. And look, every player does have a complaint to the refs, this and that. But I feel like LeBron gets a lot of stuff that goes his way, and because he's talented, and that that's the rub of the green. But especially this week, I know there was a photo later that he gave Booker a jersey signed, all that stuff, and he said goodbye. But even just when they were losing and walking off the court with 5 minutes to go and stuff like that, I think that's just bullshit. And I'm like, he really, at the end of the day, it's embarrassing because really someone like that he should be better than that. He should be. If he wants to be known as the greatest.
You know how long his press conference was?
Yeah,
this year said he stormed off the court. He stormed off the court early. Did a 12-minute press conference.
Wow,
quarter length press conference. Yeah.
And that's
sorry
the biggest
sorry
thing.
to cut you off, Cable. I just wanted to
no.
one.
Being a massive flog like that was the thing for me. Like, look, don't get me wrong. I think of our generation, LeBron is the best player of this generation right now. There is. I don't think there's any doubt about that. He's all-around game, well, apart from when he doesn't play defense, is as good as what we've seen. And the generations are different. Jordan's generation was different. The way the game was played was different, which is why Jordan is the GOAT.
Mm.
But reality is that LeBron can only play in the generation that's put in front of him. And what he does in that generation has been sensational.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is a gun. But walking off the court twice this week, including the game after you lose, when you lose, you stay out there and you shake the opposition's hand. Now, there was a lot of, in the Jordan era, there was a lot of bullshit about Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons walking off. This was exactly the same as that. It was cowardly.
Yeah.
It was weak as piss. So I absolutely can't argue with flog of the week. And the worst thing was that 12-minute press conference, Nate, I reckon he mentioned the injuries and how they were unprepared and he did not give Phoenix any credit through the entire 12 minutes. It was more about how they were injured. LeBron, you're a fucking flog.
We could go on all night, but
that's settled.
I think, look, the
he's
injuries
behind us now.
Injuries do come into play, but it did frustrate me that there was constant. I know. I was watching the Phoenix feed with the games anyway, so I probably got definitely an unbiased view. But I was hearing a lot of feedback where everyone was supporting, the poor Lakers kind of thing. They've got the injuries, but no one gave a shit about Chris Paul's injury, and that was never.
That's exactly right.
That was never seemingly mentioned. Look, people get injuries, and I know. Look, at the end of the day, in fairness, I understand the Lakers had no continuity all year due to injuries to himself, Davis, and others. But teams have injuries. Teams have bad luck, and mate, you've won a few championships, but you've also got to almost handpick your teams, get your mates to come play with you. Get deals done to get the best side. I'm like, so you can't keep sooking because Phoenix haven't been able to do that. Other teams can't do it all the time.
That's right.
Giannis doesn't always get what he wants. The Bucks only get, So shut up, LeBron. You get everything you want. Yeah.
And don't go out and recruit a 7-foot bitch.
Yeah.
Mate, what do you got for us?
Mate, I'm going a little bit left to centre, but I'll bring it back. I promise. My flog of the week is that dickhead who ran onto the court in Game 4 of the Wizards 76ers series.
What a wanker!
What a cockhead! Like, seriously, he's somehow got good enough seats that he can run onto the floor. He runs on, security guard crash tackles him, and then Dwight Howard stands over him. If I'm looking up, the last person on that court, besides Embiid, that I want to see is Dwight Howard. and maybe Russell. I don't know where Russell was running from, but if he had known what was going on, he would have been in there too. But the reason I've got an issue with that is I have been to Suns games, and I don't want them to get any tougher to get good seats.
Yeah.
I figured out how to find the seats I want, how to get like the courtside package and stuff. And I don't want them to get harder or dearer. I don't want to be like going to a footy game in Perth where you sit behind that big bloody thing at Optus Stadium and you got to look through the prison bars to watch a game.
Yes.
I don't want to do that. So that's why I'm bringing back the Suns.
That's a really,
He's
really
my
good
flog.
nomination. That is a really good. And look, let's extend that to the wankers that threw popcorn and bottles and like the crowd behavior as a whole in the US fucking flogs. What's wrong with you people? Like, why do you have to spit on Trae Young? Why? Because he's whooping your ass? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Well,
He did it 3 more times.
I think, in fairness, I think us Aussies haven't been super fantastic at games too. There's always some dickhead that will throw a bottle.
Yeah, there is.
Or whatever. So, I mean, I guess it's weird because I don't think I've ever heard of any of that kind of behavior in American NBA crowds before, really. And then you see the popcorn go, like you said, the spitting, and then you go, what's going on? Is it people gone crazy after COVID or something? I don't know, but it doesn't feel like that's a thing that NBA fans do very often.
We heard that. I've heard that a lot on pods and sports shows, and they started talking about the fact that COVID came after COVID. They were allowed back into the games, a little bit overstimulated. Just didn't know how to control it because they were just so excited that they were there. It's a fucking cop out.
Yeah.
You can't throw shit at opposition players. You can't spit on them. You can't run onto the fucking court. Look,
you can't throw bananas either.
You can't throw bananas. Cable, you're spot on. At AFL games, we've seen those same fucking dickheads at times. But the reality is that it's always the minority that are going to cause what Nate's talking about. If we can't go to I want to go back to the US and sit courtside at a fucking Phoenix game. Mm-hmm. But fuckheads like this are going to cost us.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, my nomination for flog, American fans. I know. I know.
Oh, the trend is set.
I get it. You guys grew up in Phoenix. You know more than us. We're just Australians. Here's my answer to that. Fuck off. To the idiot that came on to the fucking Phoenix Suns Australian group and said, I know an NBA referee, so I know more than you. You're a fuckhead. That's why you got banned. That's why anyone else will get banned. Because I'll tell you right now that the people who follow the Phoenix Suns in Australia have been through just as much fucking pain as you have. We aren't bandwagon jumpers. We have been there since, well, for me, it's been since KJ, Tom Chambers, Dan Marley, before Barkley. For a lot of other guys, it was at the start of Nash, Marion, 7 seconds or less. These guys have been there. We have watched the last 6 years of fucking trash just like you have. So do us all a favour. The dickhead that I banned, can't even remember his name. That's how much he matters to me. American fans, we're an Australian group. We're going to vent because most of you are fuckheads. You all get fired up. Let's
analyze that.
Yeah.
Let's analyze the word fuckhead for a second.
Okay.
So these fellas, and you
go
there, you can jump on the metro, right? And you can get the stadium and you watch a game. I've done it. The metro is easier than it is trying to get to the Gabba in Brisbane. What does it take for us to get to a game? We've got to get on a freaking plane. We're going to fly to LA. We're going to transfer to Phoenix, pay a fortune in accommodation, stay in backpackers if we're really saving for the tickets.
Yeah.
If we get to a game, we're fans. Anyone that tells us otherwise from the States can get fucked.
Yeah, exactly. It's absolutely spot on. Fuck this light.
Except for your electricity bill.
Absolutely spot on. And that's what frustrates me more than anything. Guys, you think that we're personally attacking or doing anything. You need to understand that a comment like that is the most offensive thing that we could ever cop. We are fans just as much as you are. And when I started following the Phoenix Suns, The only news I could get was a month after it happened, but I fucking got it. I went through and dug through every single piece of that stuff. So from a flop
Going back,
perspective,
Slam was banned back then, wasn't I? I'm pretty sure I remember reading Slam was like a 14-year-old.
Slam was absolutely back then.
One-on-one magazine.
Keep one-on-one. Keep reminding me how old I am. Fucking assholes.
Hey, we're all there with you, bro.
The reality is we've all been Suns fans for as long as these guys have. We know all the stories. We know all the pain. Guys, give us a go, yeah? All right. Flog of the week, same thing. We'll put it on the website, on the Facebook page. We'll see who the winner is. Personally, I love my vote. I love my nomination. But to be honest, I reckon I'm third here. LeBron and dumbass fucking fans, they're 1-2. Have to be the votes. All right, next segment.
I was going to say, can I just quickly go back 1 second?
Go.
A late, memorable, honourable mention, I should say. I reckon Ian could be flog of the week for not turning up.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to jump on that yet until I find out why.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's always.
He could have had a heart attack, and I'm just giving him
but
shit.
Fuck me, Ian. Where the fuck are you? You were there today. Jesus. Good call. All right, next one. The important one for Australian fans. Who the fuck do we want to have a beer with? Now, my bigger picture here is let's not look at anyone from within our group, because eventually we're all going to catch up and have a beer. We want to look bigger picture of who we want to have a beer with. And Nate, your turn. Kick this one off for us.
Now, when you sent this out, I went with One Direction, and then, well, not the group, and then I went back, and then I looked at your way you stated, and it said anyone currently in the NBA. So what I was originally thinking, where you said have a beer with, I went, I wouldn't mind having a beer with Ryan McDonough. He's probably got a lot of spare time on his hand. Probably learn a few lessons he can share.
And he's magical on Twitter. Magical.
Is he?
No,
anyway,
apparently the fucker still knows everything, even though he's been sacked.
Well, he did come from Boston.
Then
I thought about it. I thought, so let's go current. So currently in the NBA, when I say in the NBA, I'm going to interpret that to mean currently involved with an NBA team. Yeah. And I'm going to go with Jay Gasper. Jay is the head equipment manager for the Phoenix Suns. He has been with them for 21 years. Now, the reason I'm doing this is this guy is an absolute legend. I've had the privilege of briefly meeting him twice. The first time was the exhibition game where the Suns played the Brisbane Bullets. So I'm a Brisbane guy, member of the Bullets. As soon as I saw they were playing the Suns, I literally started calling people I knew over there, organised it, and I got courtside seats right next to the Suns bench, baseline, but feet were on the court. And Jay would sit on the floor right in front of me and take care of all the towels, the bottles, the jerseys, pre-game and stuff. And the very first time I was there, because I was there for 3 games pre-season, he gave me this hat. So this hat was given out by the Suns players to all the Bullets players, and they exchanged. The Bullets gave them all a hat from the Bullets, and the Suns gave them all one of these. Jay grabbed one and he gave it to me. And I say, I've never forgotten that. But then it got better. So I went back 2019, November, and I called out to him. I said, "G'day." He pointed at me and he threw me 2 jerseys. And he threw me Booker's warm-up singlet and Baines's warm-up jersey, which was long sleeve. Booker had ripped the sleeves off his, and they got the numbers written on the thing. So that guy's an absolute champion. And the reason I'd have a beer with him is I owe him at least 3. They're on me.
Yep. But I think if I can expand on that, fuck, that man would have some stories.
Oh, hell yes. 21
That's
years of that organisation.
That is why I would jump all over that beer with him. Could you imagine the stories that man would have? That'd be sensational. Well, that's a really, really good nomination. And just again, to touch on that, next time you go, I'm coming with you because clearly you've got fucking access where I don't. Because I went over, although I was in the Staples Centre in fuck LA. I got nothing. So, Cable, you want to run next, or are you still researching?
It's Staples right there.
I was kind of half researching because I lost my tack because I thought it was more just any NBA related, not current day.
You can give anything you want. It doesn't have to be current. It just in or around the NBA. If you got someone, throw it at us.
Well, the first one I would nominate is Dan Marley because he was my favourite player back in the day. And before we got on this chat and before you joined us, Gav, me and Nate were talking about, Nate had the luxury or the lucky circumstance of going to Marley's bar and grill. Oh, actually, you know what? I'll let Nate, you tell the story.
No. You tell because he just held up the jersey I was wearing when I ran into Dan Marley.
Well, I was going to say, yeah. So obviously Nate told me his story off air that obviously went to Marley's bar and grill a few nights in a row and then absolutely, walked into him and wearing the jersey and got a photo. And for me, that's always been meet Thunder Dan. I think, he seems like a good. And the fact, like Nate was saying too, and he wanted a place for his mates and that to go and have a beer, and he bought the bar and grill, and it became Marley's. So I think from that point of view, it'd be great to just go and have a steak and talk basketball, or just even listen to his stories. Because I reckon I've got a 4 Marley jersey somewhere. Like I got a white one, the black one. I reckon I got his All-Star jersey from '94. So
nice.
I'm a big fan. I've still got all the Marley basketball cards I had back in the day. I actually almost had a champion.
Upper deck, baby.
Yeah, and the funny thing.
Hold on, wait, stop.
We don't stop. You're going to crack a
I'm
beer. We're going to have a beer with Marley?
I've got to get these. All right, keep going.
Well, I was going to say the funny thing is, it's always been interesting how, and a lot of the people in the group that will listen to this will understand that Phoenix, even though they've been a quite successful side for a long part of their franchise history, haven't necessarily been a well-released jersey or team in Australia.
How difficult. Oh,
I know.
difficult.
Barkley. There was Barkley stuff when Barkley was big and when he first went, and Phoenix kind of had that roll on with being in the finals. But there was still a lack of. I still remember going to Myers in the city, and I live in Melbourne, so the big Burke Street. And they used to have downstairs. They had a basketball ring and everything. They had a basketball court. They had heaps of basketball stuff, and it was so hard to get anything Suns. It was all when Grant Hill was started. Kevin Garnett. It was just all these other players, just no Suns. And the funniest thing was that I remember asking them, Phoenix, small market, blah, 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 blah. But then they actually had a Dan Marley Cleveland jersey. And I was so close to it. I'm like, I regret not getting that. And that was that weird one. Remember they had the black with the blue flash across it and the orange numbers.
Jersey.
Yeah, but I was but it was like, it's Marley and Terrell Brandon and all those guys. So I've kind of lost my train of thought a little bit. But, and I had a friend.
Oh, really? You were having a beer with Marley?
Yeah, so, no, look.
You would have lost your train of thought with the beer anyway.
Yeah, long story short, it'd be great to just talk basketball with him and all that sort of stuff and just talk the Suns. And obviously he's in the Ring of Honor and his jersey's been retired. The only other thing, I don't know if did you buy, Nate, when you were there, did you get any Marley's Bar and Grill merch?
I got gifted one, actually.
Wow.
I got gifted a Marley's shirt because they got sick of seeing me. Every day I was in there, I was just waiting. I was like, I must have gone 5 visits, and the manager it came out and he actually gave me a shirt, asked me what size, and he gave me a Marley's shirt.
That's awesome.
And yeah.
That is.
Because I will say that I actually am the proud owner.
Rich was his name. He's moved on now, but Richard was good.
Oh, nice. I had a friend that they live in San Diego now, but they used to live in Phoenix, and I sort of talked about Phoenix and blah blah blah. And I sent all these Tim Tams and Aussie stuffs over to them, and I've been chatting to them and all that. And then they sent me this package back, and they got me a baseball that was used in an Arizona Diamondbacks game. So I went into the crowd or whatever like that, or bullpen or whatever. Like, that's cool. But then she sent me, she goes, I knew you're a big Phoenix fan. So we went to Marley's Bar and Grill. So she got me the baseball cap, Marley's.
Oh,
I'm like, oh, that was awesome. And I'm like, just the thoughtfulness of that. And I'm like, yeah, that's never wearing that. That's just going to sit on that's straight to the pool room.
That's an important thing for, and I gave the American fans a spray before, but that's the important thing that people need to realise with us. And you spoke about going into Myer and trying to find jerseys and everything. Even up until this year, you could not walk into a fucking sports shop and find a top or a hat or anything else that was Phoenix Suns. I'd walk into what's the big store out at High Point?
I got no idea. Is it?
There's a specialised basketball store out there.
Is it like Caps Z or?
Actually, I think it might be Mitchell and Ness. Might actually be a Mitchell and Ness store, but you could barely find anything to do with Phoenix. So I think I found a cap at some stage, but everything I owned Phoenix was when I was over there in 2017.
Yeah.
Because you just haven't been able to buy it here. Yeah. I think my wife for Christmas a couple of years got me an original KJ jersey, because KJ is my all-time favourite. Where she basically had to order it from the States and it cost her $200 American and blah, blah, blah. And lights. And the
coal power, baby. Yeah. We need that coal power.
But basically, it's she got me that, and then I had the surgery, and now it's like 8 times too big for me. But I can't throw it out because we just can't get Phoenix merch. And you spoke about the Maya downstairs. Do you know where the only place I could find Phoenix merch was? The Vic Market. The knockoff jerseys at the Vic Market, where I used to go and buy Barkley tops. Yeah. And that was about it. And to be honest, I loved that we made finals then, but I wasn't the biggest fan of Barkley because he came in from 76ers. He was only there for a couple of years. Yeah. I was a fan of Marley. I was a fan of Chambers. I was a fan of KJ. Those were the guys that were there. Yeah. So, look, from a beer perspective, fuck yeah. I'd love to have a beer with Dan Marley. He'd be sensational.
Is that your vote?
No, my vote is different and for different reasons. This week, I want to have a beer with Jay Crowder.
Yes.
The reason I want to have a beer with Jay Crowder is the salsa dance.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that you were going to calm him down.
Number one, Jay, you were embarrassed in Game 3. LeBron, the bench, they laughed at you. They were fucking knob jockeys. What'd you do? You flogged the shit out of him for the next few games. Then you salsa danced on his ass. So there's 2 reasons why I want to have a beer with Jay. Number one, fuck you, LeBron. Number 2, if we're struggling with the ladies, we can just send him out, salsa dance on the dance floor.
Take those.
You know what I'm saying, boys. You know what I'm saying. All of a sudden, with the ladies are there, Jay, love it.
Yeah, between his everything and our accents, yeah.
Absolutely. So, that's how...
while you are talking on Jay, though, I had to watch the game back. I actually went and YouTubed that because I remember watching it and I missed whatever he did because I saw Booker mouthing off. And I saw Jay Crowder take the sprint.
He just
ran. Like, shit, what did I miss? What did I miss? And when I Googled it back, you had to watch the left of the screen really quickly. You could just see him jiving. And I must have watched it 10 times over. That was so funny.
But my favourite part of that was they teched him and he just went, yeah, all right, and fucked off. That was brilliant. All right,
at least he got 12 to go, not like LeBron.
So there's our who do we want to have a beer with. Next, we're just going to do a little bit of a crystal ball. So what I want to do with you guys here is talk about the series coming up, Denver. Get each of your opinions. How many games is it going to take us to turn the lights off? How many games is it going to take us to kick their ass? Who are the standout players going to be? And any other little magical pieces that you might have for this upcoming series. So let's kick off with, Cable, you can kick this one off.
Ooh. I really don't know. I'll throw out that I was listening actually to the solar panel earlier today, and they were pretty upbeat about beating Denver, and I'm pretty confident we can do that. But I mean, you just don't know. Like it is a game of matchups as well, and you've got to be on your game. You've got to be hitting your shots, and I don't know. I think we have the advantage of Jamal Murray being out, so I definitely think
kills us. That prick always kills us.
Yeah, so I definitely think we've got the advantage in the backcourt with Booker and Chris Paul, and I think even our bench. I think Austin Rivers and who else they're going to throw up against us. We've got that covered. But again, those guys can't take it easy. Like Book has to make sure he's playing like he was in games 1, 2, and 5 and 6, and Chris Paul the same. So they can't just expect it to happen because they're playing on a lesser opponent. But then Jokic is going to be.
Are they lesser?
I don't think they're lesser, but I think they don't have their best team in.
I still think they're a better team than the Lakers overall, though. From a balance perspective and a depth perspective, I think they're a better team than the Lakers. Lakers have got AD and LeBron, and if they were healthy, would have been hard. But reality is that across the board and from a depth perspective, I think Denver have a better side than the Lakers.
I'd like to jump in on Kay, Ray. You referenced the solar panels. Look at this. I was listening to Saul and Espo talk about this as well, and they spent a lot of time deep diving on DA, which was really interesting because the point of their synopsis was, if we rely on Booker, we're no different to them, and we won't win. If we rely on our depth, and Booker has the freedom to either score or not score, essentially, and DA can shut down, not completely, but at least put a block in the game for Joker, then definitely the cards, they fall our way. I really like the time they took, though, to dive into DA on that pod today.
But if you have a look at DA over the course of the season, his main opponents, if we talk the big centers in the competition, DA has been damn efficient. He was very good against Jokic all year. He was great against Embiid. We only played him a couple of times, but he was really, really solid, especially from a defensive perspective.
DA's at his best now, not the regular season. So I think you're right. He can handle it.
Built for playoffs, the boy. Built for playoffs.
I'm going to jump in there and I'm going to lead with my flog of the week for next week, just because we're talking about Booker and the backcourt. So when I'm looking at this game and I'm looking at this series, our backcourt's obviously weight in our favour, especially if Paul's healthy. Austin Rivers.
What a knob.
Future flog of the week. Yep. Was it the 2018 trade when he came across with Oubre and then refused to play for us because we weren't contenders? So we released him for $12 million.
Yep.
I'm just looking at the stats. He got 40 minutes in the last game to put Portland away. His contribution was 7 points and 1 rebound in 40 minutes. If he doesn't start, it's Campasso. They're the starting point guards. What are options?
Hold on.
I was going to say,
let's not be unfair here. Compared to Kyle Kuzma, that's some pretty big minutes.
Okay.
I'm actually surprised. So that version of him not wanting to play in Phoenix is interesting because I felt like that's not what I heard. So I guess different people put out different things. I thought it was more he came across, but there was definitely maybe his manager didn't.
There was definitely a two-way thing there, where Phoenix would have been, from what I heard and everything I read. There was a thing from Phoenix where it was, if he wants to play great, we'll keep him. But if he doesn't, we're happy to waive him.
Yep. Yeah.
So, but still a wanker. No doubt about it.
Yeah, definitely still a wanker.
Flog. Yep.
I hope he gets his 40 minutes against the Suns because.
Oh yeah. Well, one of my questions for you two was Jamal Murray out. Obviously, big out for Denver. With their backcourt right now, Monte Morris is probably the most obvious choice, but who defends Booker?
He's playing up at the moment, but do you think he's going to get his 33 points every game against our team?
Forget the points. I don't care about the points. Who defends Booker?
Yeah, true. I mean, what is Monte Morris? He's like 6'3", less.
Booker post him up all day long.
Yeah.
Like, really, their options are Campazzo, Morris, and Austin, whatever he's.
We've got it on the backcourt.
I agree. I'd love to see a good spread right across the team and shed. But having said that, I don't want to rely and put it all on Booker because he's technically, I guess, on paper, got the advantage at that position for this series. But if the opportunity arises where he can really exploit that, we'll just keep giving it to him. If he's winning and he's beating him off the dribble, or like you said, he can post up against whoever's defending him, just keep giving it to him. As long as he gets to win,
proven he can draw a double team and kick out.
Yeah, exactly.
And we look at the last two games. He was the beige mama in those last two games. Now, if he wants to keep that shit up, there is nobody in Denver who can stop him. They're going to have to run Michael Porter Jr., who can't defend. They're going to have to run Jokic. They're going to have to run. They've got nobody who can defend this guy. I mean, is Aaron Gordon going to defend him? Has he ever played defense? Even in the fucking movie he filmed, he didn't play defense.
I will say, but having said all that, you know, if Booker's having a little bit of a bad night and the shooting streaky and all that sort of stuff, like I think DA will go pretty well. But as a team, we've got to help him out. We've got to back him up and make sure, you know, Jokic is going to be there. If they're going to win games, he's got to have big games. So
he's going to play big minutes.
Yeah,
he's going to play big minutes.
So we've got to make sure
all the guys have to play big minutes.
Okay, here's another question, right? The two guys that sort of back up DA didn't get a lot of minutes in the Lakers series, and that's Frank the Tank and Saric. Who gets first sort of crack at sort of backing him up?
I just didn't get a single second.
Saric is not suited to Denver. So I think the only backup we can play is Frank. I think Frank defensively can at least put a body in front of Jokic. Where Saric's confidence is completely shot at the moment. Although that fadeaway three in the last game.
Yeah, I like that.
But defensively, Jokic will tear us apart if Saric is on the floor. Realistically, I think Frank has to be the man.
Will they? So another thing, I'm sure Nate heard this. They talked about in the solar panel, which I sort of agreed with, and it's a very football or an AFL thing, at least from my point of view, to do is go, well, if Jokic's on the floor, DA stays on the floor, and if he goes off, DA goes off. When he comes back on, you go almost like just shadow. And I think
shadow, right?
I was going to say they used the term shadow, and I was thinking the same thing. It's like, well, why don't you he runs with him the whole time? I think he'll relish the opportunity.
Agree. The only problem, only time that won't happen is foul trouble.
Yeah.
So if DA gets into foul trouble, we're going to see more minutes from Frank.
Absolutely.
I agree with Nate. If you look at the last few games of the Lakers series, I don't think we're going to see a lot of minutes from Saric.
Yeah. But then having said that, it could be a bit of a horses for courses thing a little bit. The matchups something might open up for him in that. I just hope Mr. Torrey Craig gets a bit more of a run, and hopefully his intel on knowing his ex-teammates will help also. That brings something else to the table that he, even just a little bit more insight, because he would have played a lot of training drills and sessions with the other boys that he would have played with at Denver. So hopefully he can bring a lot to the table to help out the Suns.
Where they use him is going to be the interesting part, though.
Sorry?
Yeah, and I think the beauty of this matchup is that Torrey can slot in. So if we look at the setup from Denver, Jokic is Ayton and Frank. If we look at the other setup for the rest of the Denver team, you got MPJ and Aaron Gordon. MPJ and Aaron Gordon turn the lights out. MPJ
That
and
won't be
Aaron
happening
Gordon.
on the second pod.
MPJ and Aaron Gordon are perfect matchups for Bridges, Cam Johnson, Torrey, Jay Crowder. So the Lakers game, particularly before AD got hurt, made it hard for them to slot AD in. This matchup is perfect to see more Torrey Craig minutes. Then with their front court, I mean, you've got Campaign, Book, CP3. I don't think that we're going to see any major minutes from any of the other guys, but those guys can easily rotate through there from a guard position. So from a matchup perspective, I think we're far better suited to Denver.
Agreed. I definitely, I'm not taking this series easy at all, and not to disrespect the Nuggets, but I was definitely more worried about the Lakers going into that series. So I'm definitely a lot more confident with the team we've got going in and the depth in that team, and also now they've had the experience. Like Booker and some of those guys never really played playoffs, and now they've had that experience. They've won a series. So I guess in a way, there's no excuses. They can just go full tilt and hopefully they beat the Nuggets. But the Nuggets have also been pretty good the last couple of years to really smash in hard and push teams. Like at the end of the day,
they've been good in playoffs.
Yeah,
they've been in some great series.
They've never, and a lot of times when I think similar to how we were perceived by the bookies in the whole Lakers series is never the favourites, pretty much.
No.
Like I feel like the Nuggets have never really been given the respect, but they just kept, like especially last year in the bubble, they just kept beating sides, and the year before that they sort of upset sides because they take it. If they took it to the game 7, they didn't care; they would get it done. And so that's the only thing that concerns me. I just think we're probably a little bit lucky there, a bit light on for good players at the moment.
Yeah. All right, Nate. What's your series prediction?
Personally, I'm leaning towards the 6 game. I don't want to see it to go to 7, and I don't think the Suns will want to see it go to 7. If Chris Paul is trending in the same direction as he was at the end of the Lakers game and getting better, and Campaign keeps doing that thing, I think they can get it done. The backcourt's just too strong. All they've got to do is figure out Joker, and I think they can figure this one out in 6.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I hope it's 6. I hope it's less. I hope we sweep them. But I think the reality is 6 is probably, I wouldn't surprise me if we could win maybe the first 2 and then go to Denver and drop one. I think it's all about their big guy, and unfortunately, and I feel sad. I feel a little bit bad because he seems like a nice guy. Like he's a likable player. So
that's upsetting me. How nice he is upsetting me.
Well, I don't have any. But he's not. I don't have any issues with him. So it's like, well, he's working hard.
That's what sucks.
And he's a bloody good. At the end of the day, he's a bloody good player, and for his size, which is not. Well, it's become a bit more commonplace these days. But back in imagine if he was a player in the 70s, 80s, or even early 90s, he would be. He would just be MVP.
It's Sabonis Senior.
Yeah, it's just crazy how good he is. But look, there's a part of me that wishes they kind of had full strength, so it would be, like almost not a fair matchup, but it would be like we beat them at full strength. But I mean, teams get injuries. Chris Paul's not 100%. It'd be nice to even have an opportunity to rest him a little bit more if we're starting to be up in games and make sure that shoulder is 100% if we can get further. So
injuries aren't unique to this season, but every year it's the winner is who sustains the best to the end. And that's injuries without them. So I'm not going to sit here and take that cop out.
Yeah. No. I don't think they're even that inclined. I don't think the Nuggets would make any excuses like the Lakers did. So, but yeah, that's. I'd like to think we get the job done in 6. I'm a bit the same. I think that Jokic will get us in 2 games. Let's be honest, the guy is the NBA MVP this year. You're not the MVP if you ain't the best player in the competition.
I think he gets us a couple of times. I think we do win it in 6, is my prediction. I'm with Cable. I hope we sweep him, but I just think that, look, Jokic is too good to get swept. He will push us to the limits, but we will get it in 6. I do agree with Nate. Injuries wise, look, reality is you've got to stay healthy at this time of year. That's half the point of the season and why it goes so long. We have been healthy generally. I mean, Chris is obviously struggling a little bit at the moment, but Suns in 6. Book it.
All right.
Book it.
All right. Last segment of the night. We have decided to run a Suns Aussie fans multi. So each time we run the podcast, we will run a multi. So we're looking at tomorrow night's game. I do have Ian's leg, which is a double-double for DeAndre Ayton. So that will be leg 1. We will have 4 legs. What will happen is I'm going to front up the cash, but we're only going to put $2 on it. Go and have a piss, Cable.
Oh, thanks.
There we go.
It would not be an Aussie. It would not be an Aussie podcast without a piss. We have. I'm gonna pony up the coin. The whole $2. I'm gonna pony up.
That's just got empty.
We're gonna have a crack. We're gonna put a fuck you light.
We're gonna pay the electricity bill.
We're gonna have. It's a fucking. I wish I could work out how to just leave it on. We're going to have a 4-leg multi, 3 guests. The big 3 will put a leg in and our guest. Unfortunately, we're only the big 2 tonight and our special guest who slotted into the big 3 beautifully. But we're going to have a 4-leg multi, $2 on it. If we win, we just keep rolling it over. What we're going to try and do is get as much money as we can. So that when we have catch-ups in whatever states we have catch-ups, we'll be able to put some money on the bar and buy some wings and drink some Budweisers. So we have a double-double for DeAndre Ayton that has come from Ian. So, Nate, what is your leg for tomorrow's game against Denver? Game 1.
It's I was looking at Sportsbet and shout out the 3-pointers.
Don't worry, Sportsbet will sponsor us 1 point.
One.
They'll be on board. They'll be on board.
I couldn't believe Sportsbet had D-Book paying 5-1 to make 4+ made threes.
Nice.
I just couldn't believe it. Jay Crowder was paying $3 for 4+ made threes. I think it was $3. No, $2. Yeah.
Coming off the game.
$3.30. $3.30 for Jay Crowder, or $5 for Book Dip for more. And with the backcourt as weak as it is, yeah. But without backcourt, and like you pointed out before, Caleb, yeah. Booker, 4+.
Done. Booker, 4+ threes is our second leg. Cable, what do you got for us? What's your leg?
Well, see, this is the one that's a little bit risky, and I don't even think there's a massive amount of value in it. But assuming he's close to 100% fit, I was going to say 8+ assists for Chris Paul, CP3.
Oh, it's a lock.
I said that the other day too. I had him down and I missed a multi because he sat down second half of the game. He just didn't need to play, so he sat down.
Well, it's funny.
And I was like, oh, come on, he's got to get the minutes too.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, even in when we struggled a few for those couple of games that we lost, and then we came back and Booker had sort of struggled. I think I'm pretty sure I put in the group, 40+ for Booker tonight, and he got to 30 really quick, and then it was they were up by 30 in game 5, and they kind of got sat. But I'm like, so he would have. I reckon if he had stayed in, he could have easily got the 40, and then obviously game 6 they kept him in, and he got the 47 pretty easily. So That's the only thing with these multis. It's like if the game's close, they're still in the game and they're contributing, they get it. But if the lead's so big and you've got the opportunity to rest those players and they're not get injured and they're ready to go for game 2, 3, 4, then why wouldn't you rest them? I get it, but then that kind of fucks your multi a bit, doesn't it?
But look, multis are great. We all throw them out there.
But we take the win. Take the win.
The reason we do this is to have a fucking crack.
Yeah.
So I love the 8+ assists because CP3 will have 8+ assists by halftime.
There you go.
My league, I have pulled it back a little bit to what I kind of preempted with you guys earlier today, but I'm throwing D-Book in for 35+.
Yep.
Denver do not have someone to defend this bloke. He will have 35 by three-quarter time.
I agree, but then does that play into? Does he need to go for that? If he's almost undefendable, will he go for that many threes to get the 4?
Maybe
You know
not.
what I mean?
Depends if he does them all in the first quarter again.
Maybe not. But then we
true.
can blame Nate. We can blame Nate if he misses.
Yeah.
As long as he has the 35+, we can blame Nate for missing out on the threes.
Because that's my multi-leg, of course. Yes.
Yep. And now, the only other thing, so our multi is, guys, watching, a double-double for Aiton, Book 4+ threes, CP3 8+ assists, D-Book 35+ points. I'm going to throw a stabilizer in there as well. Just for a little bit
can we
of
just say
extra
before we
value.
go? Can we just go?
Yep.
We're betting through Sportsbet,
Through Sportsbet.
but also just for our fans, gamble responsibly.
Yeah.
I love it.
Take our advice.
Love it. I love it. Well done. We're going to throw in, and this will be a staple bet for the Suns Aussie fans podcast or video cast,
Yep.
whatever you want to call it.
Mm.
We're going to throw in Mikal Bridges for 1 block.
Ooh, I like
That will go in every single bet. So from here on forward, Mikal Bridges 1 block.
Who's it
One-
going to
one
get, do you reckon?
1 block or 1
He's going to
steal.
get MPJ, right?
Well, I was going to put Mikal. Fuck you, Light. I was going to put Mikal for 2 steals, but I like the 1 block. He always tends to get one with those long arms.
True,
So
but
for the
I think in the
stabilizer,
the
you
mo-
didn't think to go with Suns win.
yeah, well, it's,
All right, look, 2 stabilizers, Suns win. So it's a 6-leg multi. Mikal 1 block, Suns win.
nice. I like it. I like
Let's
it.
talk about who's going to get that block on.
Take your pick.
Because I'm just
Except
looking at
for-
MPJ
except
at
for
6'10",
Oh,
you know?
hopefully it's just this huge one on Austin Rivers. on the fast break,
We're-
Austin Rivers thinks
yeah.
he got it and just fucking bang.
No, I've got
the head
an
part of
even
the
better
ball?
one. Austin Rivers tries to pop up for a 3, and Mikal blocks him where the ball goes straight back in his fucking nose.
There you go. The Falcon.
That's the block I want. That is the block I want, Mikal. Make it happen. So we have our multi. We have touched on pretty much everything. So what we will do is give each of you 3 minutes to talk about whatever the fuck you want.
Oh,
Go.
hey, I got to the hour and
you're
a
up
quarter.
first.
Yeah, you go, Cable.
Oh, geez. What do I want to talk about? Look,
Off script.
well,
Off
we
script.
want to talk about the Suns, but I
Number
guess
1, show me your top. Stand up, show us your top. Yeah, bit of book action.
Well,
Love it.
you know what? It was the only thing I could get. Literally, it was actually through the Nike website, the Nike store that kind of links to the UK and but was kind of Australia. And I was like surprised they had it. I'm like, let's just order it straight away because I've typed Phoenix into the Nike store in the last few months and nothing comes up. Because last year I was hoping to get Oubre Jr. jersey and it was like just nothing was just coming through and it's ridiculous. Like you said earlier in the podcast that trying to get any sort of jersey and stuff. You're like, you go, but then you convert it to American dollars and it's got to get sent here. And then a jersey that should be only about $100 is upwards of 200 plus. And you go,
Yeah.
I'd almost never wear it because I don't want to get it wrecked because it's just too, it's kind of ridiculous. I don't understand.
And the originals, the fucking numbers fall off and the names and everything.
Well, you're right too. Like, see, even this one's like an iron-on kind of number and all that, and on the print. And I've only worn it a couple of times, but you kind of go, they're not built for longevity either. So it's a lot of bloody money. But anyway, no, I was just going to say, like, just for hopefully the people that tune in, I'm a new member, but I've, you keep talking about this bandwagon that we jumped on, but I didn't. I don't feel like I jumped on a bandwagon. I just picked a side, and I'll tell you why Barrack follow the Suns, and
I love that.
And you guys can jump on it too. But I'll be honest and upfront with all of you now. My admission, the first ever team I kind of technically followed or was interested in as a kid was the Lakers, and I'll tell you,
kick him off now.
And no, but I saw the light. I saw the sun through the trees. No, but I'll tell you why. Because growing up in the 80s, NBA started to become a thing in Australia because of Jordan, because of Magic, and Larry Bird and those guys. And it started to filter into just the Australian, way of life and just in the sports shows. So my old man was a big fan. Like, he wore the number 32 playing footy, and that was his number. And he just liked the idea, like Magic, and saw some highlights. So he wasn't even a fan of the Lakers or anything like that, but he was just all Magic Johnson, number 32. And I just sort of got attracted to that. But again, when you see only the best sides in highlight reels on Australian TV and highlights packages and stuff like that, the only teams you get to know are, especially in the 80s, were the Celtics, the Detroit Pistons, Chicago Bulls,
especially over here, yeah,
and the Lakers. So I didn't get to know any other sides in the competition until the Lakers versus Celtics computer game, and that's when I sort of fell in love with the Phoenix Suns, because everyone always played the Lakers or Celtics, but in that game, that computer game, for those that don't know it, was a game where you actually could play any of the playoff teams from that year, which was, I think, 89. So that was an opportunity. I got to beat Tom Chambers, Jeff Hornacek, Dan Marley, Kevin Johnson, all those guys. And I don't know why. It stuck from there. And then I started trying to follow and get as much information on the Phoenix Suns from there. And obviously I got a little bit lucky later on. Obviously, once Charles Barkley got traded there, it became a bigger deal. And once they had a bit more success. But Lakers versus Celtics video game introduced me to the Suns, and I just always loved the name Phoenix. Because again, I didn't know all my American cities, but like, you just think Phoenix sounds like a really cool name, and the Sun sounds like an awesome name, and purple and stuff, and it was kind of similar to the Lakers. But personally, and that's the other reason why I'm not a Lakers fan, because I felt like everybody just picked the easiest side to fight. You pick the
Especially
Celtics
out here.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's like, it's so easy. Like, so many people that I hear, and especially young Lakers, it's like, yeah, but it's so easy. You just met Kobe. You saw Kobe as the best player in the league, and they were winning, so you jumped on the Lakers. I'm like, no, it sounds hard. Like, I'd rather people follow basketball than not. But it's like, but did you really try and identify with a team? Or no, you just jumped on the best thing in town, and you've stuck with it. Or a lot of people don't really stick with it. They pick and choose when they fucking suits them. Like Daniel Torres.
Follow a player.
Yeah.
There's another flog of the week on the way.
Daniel Torres, yeah. But yeah, so that's my history. I think I've been a long time fan. I've been, and then that's when people ask me, "Oh, you were just on the Nash days?" And I'm like, "No, I was bloody there before, way before Nash was even a rookie there. Like, I was there before Barkley. So I'd like to think I've been very passionate. Yeah. Nate, tell us your history.
Nate, give it to us, Nate. Before you do, Suns fan exclusive. There is now two of us that need to quick piss.
There's two of you that need to quick piss. What?
Do you need to go?
Cable stuck out for a quick piss before. I just stuck out there.
Oh, so, I'm good. I'm going to hold it. I can hold it for 6 minutes. I'm good.
All right, Nate, give it to us. How did you become a Suns fan?
Oh, that was originally '93 team, Dan Marley. You know, big white guy that could do everything. You know, what's not to like? You know, it's the team itself. Just something about it that wasn't mainstream. That's why it appealed to me. But in that era, we got enough of a taste of it. Like you said, a cable that you only get exposed to so many teams. So outside the Slam magazine and everything else and the trading cards, where does the influence come from? And for some reason, it was always Dan Marley for me. That was the reason I'm a Suns fan. Half the bucket list thing that I wanted to get there. And then we just talk about the fans that jump between teams and they say, I follow a player. Well, fuck you. One of my best mates is one of those guys, and we argue all the time. And he's just like, but I'm a fan of fucking LeBron. I'm like, that makes it worse. I mean, pick a fucking team. Stop buying jerseys for everyone under the sun and buy 8 different color sets for your one team. Yeah. And there's such a sense of enjoyment when you sell into an organization and then you finally get to go to that city in America. You feel connected to that city in a bit of a different way. It becomes very so. I would like to call Phoenix my second home. I've been fortunate enough to get there 3 times in the last 5 years, and I absolutely love the joint. And you tell that to people, and they're like, "Oh, so what do you like about Phoenix?" That's why would you want to go to Phoenix? And I just show them a picture now. I'll share it on the group. I took a picture when I was leaving Phoenix the last time, and when I was landing in LA. And then I put the pictures side by side. And the picture of Phoenix was just perfect shades of brown and landscape. And it was just pretty. And the picture of LA was black. Yeah. No word of a lie. Side by side, it was just perfect landscape, black. And it's just like, LA's a fucking toilet. Simple.
I love it. I absolutely love that. And look, I think all of our experiences are the same. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm 43. So I started following the NBA, 1987. And it was the year KJ was a rookie. Started with Cleveland. Yep. Went across to the Suns. Phoenix were no good. They were terrible. KJ ended up over there. We had Tom Chambers come in from Seattle, I think, at the time. Dan Marley ended up coming in just afterwards. And what I did was I watched a couple of highlights on NBA Action. Saturday, 11 a.m.
30 tight minutes.
Every single person at my school barracked for Chicago, LA, or Boston. That was the exposure that people got. And make no mistake about it, outside of KJ, my favorite player of all time is Magic Johnson. I used to love watch Magic Johnson. He was unbelievable. What he could do on a basketball court. Didn't mean I didn't hate the fuck out of the Lakers. I hated them so much. But that Phoenix Suns side just caught me. And then similar to Cable, Charles Barkley joined, and all of a sudden we were a title contender. It was an amazing time to be a Phoenix Suns fan because nobody else banked for them. Nobody. No. So all of a sudden we're playing Chicago in the finals, and John Paxton is a fucking wanker who's dead to me. But it was amazing to be involved.
Little white guy that can only do a few things, as opposed to big white guy who can do everything.
He hit one shot in his whole fucking life, and
it had to be that one.
Anyway,
but this is an Aussie Suns fans page, right?
That's what we do. Reality is, I love that. Yeah, you should have showed us that earlier. And we did speak about it earlier.
Now, this is why we need a video, because if there's people who are just listening to this, and that's your statement, I'll tell you.
One of my regrets is that Bainesy isn't our backup centre this year, because while he's gone to Toronto and sucked up the world, he's been fucking horrible. In Phoenix, he fit.
Hey, couldn't be any better or any worse than what we got, really. I mean, no offense to Frank, but fuck.
Well, reality is we signed Sarich as a trade piece. That's what we did. We should have signed Baines. Should have let Dario
same money would have got it done.
Sign Baines. Yeah. So, but no, as a Suns fan, I mean, I've been a Suns fan forever. I've been through the pain. I went through the pain of Robert Ory.
Mm-hmm.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah, Robert.
Cost us that title.
That's flog of the week next week.
Oh, cost us.
There's a list coming.
Actually,
The flog list.
Flog of the
Can we
generation.
we should have a retrospective flog of the, of the decade and all that.
Look, we're Suns fans. Robert Ory has to be the greatest flog of all time, really.
Wow,
that
whole, it's funny you bring that up because that whole trade for Charles Barkley, obviously when Charles wanted out, we got in the end, we got nothing from Houston. Like every one of those guys left. Like Horry went straight away. Cassell, did he even play? Did he even suit up for us? I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure he was straight out.
At Houston, I loved Sam Cassell. He was fucking useless.
But I don't know. Did he even play?
I don't even know if he played.
I don't even know. I reckon he was a straight wave, or he was on traded straight away. But then that was the thing. He was good in Houston as a backup or whatever, and then he just bounced around from team to team for a while. So
yeah.
But I mean, you sort of think, well, I don't know what we're doing there, but yeah, that may be a next podcast. Some of the worst trades we've ever made.
Oh Jesus Christ! I think as Suns people, we have a few. I mean, letting go of the Morris brothers. What a fucking blessing.
Well, we should.
Michael Beasley still tortures my dreams.
Oh yes.
Mind
you, Mook did hit 7 threes today.
Fuck him.
Yeah, fuck him. We also had Andrew Bogut for a while.
There's definitely some funny ones that we've had over the years, and you sort of think why, and then you think, oh, that was a good trade, and then Well, even when we traded for Fat Shaq, everybody sort of lost their minds. But Fat Shaq went all right in Phoenix. He wasn't bad.
Still played basketball.
He was good.
You can remember him.
Yeah, that's right.
Not like Bogut, for example.
Do you know, just an interesting one while we're all on, one of the most underrated trades we had was Steph Marbury. He went quite
underrated
well in Phoenix.
At the time, wasn't?
Yeah.
Wasn't really underrated at the time.
But as a lead on to that, have we had the greatest mix of point guards ever to play the game?
Yeah, we've had a decent
and never won a title.
Never won a title, but KJ, Penny, Steph Marbury, Steve Nash, Chris Paul now.
Kids.
Jason Kidd.
Eric Bledsoe. Oh, no, sorry.
It's funny you say that too, because I think when you think of point guards, I actually do think again, this might be something we can do for another podcast or in the group. But when you try and
90 minutes into this shit.
No. But if you no, but
it's been so much fun though.
But if you think about, if you picked your not necessarily your best side for Phoenix, your all-time Phoenix Suns side, but your favorite all-time side, it's very hard to pick your point guard because we've had so many good point guards come through the franchise. Whereas other positions, you go, there's one or two standouts, or there's two or three, and you might not be a fan. Say even Barkley, you go, no, I like Danny Manning better, or Tom Chambers better, whatever. But I think point guard in Phoenix over the journey, we've been pretty stacked. And
we've been blessed.
And that's even before, like you said, 87, I'm probably 88, 89 a fan. You go back even further when you start to look at the history of the Suns and look at some of even the old school legends of Phoenix. They're all point guards too, or point guard shooting guards, and you go, geez, you think about it,
we've had some rippers.
Oh, absolute rippers. So you go, how can you even you'd almost pick a whole side of 15 players of just pure point guards. That's how good it's been. But the problem is, I guess, having all the other positions covered in that same year. And to think that we had Nash as a rookie and Jason Kidd was a premier guy at the time, and Nash had to go somewhere else to just get more court time. And experience, and then
Come back.
Kid
Same thing
having
happened with Goran Dragic.
kid having an issue or
Yeah.
maybe beating up his wife or whatever it was, and Phoenix not Phoenix frowning on that, and they did a deal. And then, long story short, in a roundabout way, Nash comes back and he wins MVPs at Phoenix because he loved the place so much. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but we've always been blessed at that position. It's just, unfortunately, in a lot of those times, we never really had the best center for a long time. And that was what Barkley used to complain about. It's like, you need to get me a good center here. And that was, maybe that's what never really got us over the line in those years either.
Yeah. Yeah, we just couldn't. We were always one piece short. Always one piece short. Anyway, guys, as Nate said, we've gone 90 minutes. It's been fucking brilliant, though.
Nate said it was like it was a bad thing.
No, I've absolutely loved it, boys. So thank you very much for jumping on. This will be, without question, the longest video cast we have.
Oh yeah, there'll be gender tight.
It is the first episode. Then, considering what we've covered, the next episode should go for 4 minutes. So
imagine if Ian was here as well. Shit.
I know. Nate, thank you very much, mate. Fantastic of you to jump on.
Thanks for
honestly,
asking this morning. It's good.
I think this is going to be something that ongoing is going to be great fun. Cable, thank you so much for being the IT whiz that gets all this going for us.
Jesus.
I think we should probably run one. I think we should probably run one directly, like probably Tuesday, directly after game one.
Yes. Yeah.
But we'll see how that goes. We'll send some messages out. Phoenix Suns Aussie fans, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. And this will be the longest one. We will cut it back after this because we won't invite Nate anymore. Clearly took up too much time. Love you guys. Thank you so much for making Aussie Suns fans the greatest group in Phoenix Suns land, and look forward to chatting everyone. Thanks, boys.
As Chris Paul gets in, another wide open three.
Pierre Cardin.
Defers to Booker for the long-range jumper.
Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. Chris Paul bring a dinner with the dish. D-Book on the corner with the swish. We the Valley, hating with the dump. Posterizing, now the crowd getting pumped. We the best, I ain't talking about Cali. Who's next? Never winning in the Valley. Can't wait for that championship rally. Send them home, send them back to Cali. Stand up if you're down for the Suns. Put a finger in the air, we number one. Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but